Hello, everyone. We hope this finds you all staying safe, well, and secure no matter where you are on the planet, and continuing to work safely through the many challenges of life during pandemic. Today, we'd like to welcome you to another installment of Genians Talk, our second in a series of conversations with several of the key contributors at Genians, a world leader in helping you protect your organization and its assets in today's ever more dangerous world of advancing cyber threats by leveraging network access control solutions to build effective cyber defense foundations. My name is Michael Clark. I'm a DevOps, cloud, and security evangelist with Renaissance Tech and Media. Today we have with us special guest Brett Hamill, a solutions architect at Genians. Welcome, Brett.
Hi, Michael. Hello, everyone.
So good to have you here, Brett. You are now somewhat of a veteran, I think it's safe to say, in the industry, and have been able to witness how NAC has evolved over the years. In the early 2000s, as you know, many NAC vendors came into the marketplace in response to wireless and bring your own device initiatives in particular. Key among those were such network infrastructure vendors as Cisco, Aruba, now part of HP, along with endpoint security vendors such as Symantec, pure play NAC vendors like Genians, Forescout, and Bradford, which of course is now Fortinet. You could say that the market experienced a sort of NAC renaissance as we saw the introduction of a plethora of NAC approaches, from 802.1x to VLAN steering via switch integration, and from agent-based to ARP enforcement methods, all within a fairly compressed time frame. Subsequently, the NAC market hit something of a wall due, I think, to a number of factors, some of them technical, some marketing mixed messaging related, such as the economy, just as the economy was hit by the Great Recession. However, it's now the case that NAC is back, due in part to the explosion of devices in the IoT market and because of the need to support more and more complicated and dynamic network environments. You've watched these developments, Brett, from the beginning, from a viewpoint not just of a casual observer, but very much as an active participant and engineer in the field. And so today, here you are, persisting in this field with the latest NAC technology. How do you feel about the NAC world at the current juncture? Some might say you've just stuck around long enough to be a survivor, and at the same time, here you are leading us into a new era of heightened cyber defense capabilities.
Well, you're right, Michael. It was an interesting couple of decades. Over the past 15 years in particular, there was at least a couple of times where there were opinions that network access control was going to be an outdated technology and would be replaced by new technology in just a couple of years. Yet over that same period of time, there continued to be revenue forecast projections from Gartner and others indicating that NAC revenue was still there. And so it still remained a relevant, as it does today, technology. I think maybe there's two reasons for that primarily. One is, as the forecast did project, there was always NAC revenue to be had by delivering NAC solutions. And the second is that the core problems that NAC needed to solve, they remain, and they remain here today. So even with the evolution of cybersecurity in general and hundreds of new technologies and solution categories being introduced, the basics of who, what, when, and where about devices and people connecting to your network, really that's never changed. So that's still a foundation of any successful cybersecurity plan, and that's why NAC is still relevant today. So in essence, it really boils down to how you solve that problem, not if you solve that problem. So with IoT and OT that are prevalent today, that certainly adds a new dimension. So that needs to be part of any NAC solution today, and of course, the central focus of any NAC solution moving forward as well.
Understood. As you look back on that earlier period, tell us about some of the largest challenges you had to overcome when attempting to deliver NAC in those early days.
Well, you actually said it in your question, the word deliver. That was definitely the biggest challenge. Um, Being able to deliver an NAC solution that is cost effective for the customer and also profitable for the company delivering the solution became more and more challenging. Companies delivering NAC solutions ultimately were having to staff up service arms inside of their organization because of the growing complexity of those solutions and how to deliver those solutions. So over time, organizations began to label NAC as something that was very difficult to understand, very complex to deploy, and also very often not cost effective. So even though organizations understood that it was just as important to secure your network from the inside as it is to secure your network from the outside, they still viewed something like a firewall installation as a routine task, but a NAC installation as a very large, complex project. And to be honest, with the solutions available at the time, that was not an inaccurate assessment.
Yeah, so it sounds like one can really understand why, given the complexity, some of those early potential customers may have decided to just simply take a pass on the technology in general. But here you are today with Team Genians. What led you to Genians as a company?
Well, after years of designing, deploying, supporting NAC solutions that had so many network integration touch points and so many dependencies, it definitely took its toll. Um, as a network engineer by trade originally, I started to empathize with customer network and security teams that were taking on these NAC deployments and all the challenges that they were facing. Were challenges that I and others delivering NAC solutions would share with them. So it was really from that vantage point that being exposed to and seeing new delivery options for NAC and different ways to deliver NAC solutions, that's what became attractive to me and ultimately what attracted me to Genians. Um, in fact, while I was still considering accepting the position at Genians, I had the opportunity to test drive the product, and I was able to stand up a cloud policy server and install a virtual sensor on my laptop. And within 30 minutes, I was able to detect all the devices on my home network and block any new unknown devices. And I did all that without touching any of my home network infrastructure. So that excited me based on my experience with NAC and being a network engineer. And I wanted to be part of a company that could deliver that kind of solution. And really, the ability to have a cloud delivery model and virtual options and being able to rapidly deploy like that, I knew that was something special. So that's what brought me to Genians. I think what will keep me at Genians is how much they value input from all of their employees, whether it's referencing product improvements or recommendations or process improvements or new ideas. They truly value everyone's opinion. And above and beyond that, it's a very tech-heavy organization. Most of the employees are engineers in the company. So what this means for software releases is a very reliable dev cycle, and also for customers, it means very rapid and accurate response times. So also, even though we're a global organization with R&D teams geographically separated from other operational teams and parts of the organization, it's a very collaborative environment. We're always in communication via video conferencing, Slack, etc. So just that type of environment is really a pleasure to be part of.
Yeah, understood. That's really great to hear. It seems to me that the collaborative opportunities available in today's workplace have just made so many things possible that weren't even imaginable 5, 10 years ago. And of course, sharing perspectives with engineers from other cultures, different parts of the world, can teach us a great deal. Certainly, the global nature of our problems is undeniable. Local problems are still very much important, but they pale alongside these truly large-scale issues. Cybersecurity obviously qualifies as one of those, as it is a continuing, pervasive challenge for all of us. Now, my understanding is that Genians has been the #1 NAC solution provider in South Korea for over 16 years now. I imagine that this is no accident. Can you share the reason with us behind Genians' market dominance?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And that is accurate. I think at last count, it was over 70% of the South Korean domestic network access control market is Genian NAC. And I think really, it's really no secret why there's the vast success there. That's where the company originated, but more importantly, it's I think the ability to rapidly deploy using cloud and virtual options that I talked about before. That is just something that really a company of any size or type and any vertical, looks attractive to the company because they also had the perception that NAC was difficult to deploy. I think maybe above and beyond that, there's two other really critical components there. One is the device platform intelligence capability of Genian NAC, which allows the product to non-intrusively gain visibility for all sorts of different platforms, including IoT, OT specific platforms. So some of the huge enterprise networks that are supported in the Korean domestic market are in manufacturing and the automobile industry. And those types of customers require that kind of visibility. So legacy NAC device fingerprinting, this is a phone, this is a PC, this is a printer, it's just not satisfactory in those environments. And neither is really anything that is intrusive in nature, where you're doing too much scanning or there's too much of an effect on those sensitive IoT endpoints. So the way device platform intelligence is collected and available, I think is a key factor there for those customers. And then also the flexibility of the agent itself. There's over 60 plugins that are available. It's very affordable because you don't have to buy separate network modules for various plugins like you do with some solutions. And because there's customers such as the South Korean government and military, endpoint security is of utmost importance to those customers. And so the agent plays a critical role there. So I think those reasons are the reasons for success in the South Korean domestic market and as well as Asia Pacific. And now as we go through our global expansion, those are the reasons at the forefront of why we're seeing success in other regions like North America, Latin America, and EMEA.
Well, it's clear from your experience and your perspective that you have a leadership view of the marketplace, the industry, and the potential going forward. From your perspective, what do you think the future of NAC looks like at this point?
Well, obviously there has to be new technology that gets evolved when it comes to the NAC solutions of the future. But the key is also that the core features of NAC today must also remain. Those core problems are not going away. Who, what, when, where, that is still information that has to be part of your NAC solution, regardless of the technologies behind the solution. And the reason NAC will still be relevant moving into the future and how it will be relevant is a direct parallel to what's going on. So if you look at even the mass exodus to the cloud, there's going to be many companies that cannot fully migrate to the cloud for multiple reasons. One might be regulatory. Software as a service and cloud solutions are actually not something that some, for legal reasons, can actually take advantage of. And others may have business reasons or operational reasons why they still have to maintain a significant local area network. So in that instance, you're faced with having to continue to perform your standard NAC functions, both on the local area network as well as now into the cloud to support those hybrid environments. Of course, with the COVID pandemic recently brought to light a very extensive focus on remote access solutions as well. So the NAC solutions of today and of the future need to provide a very robust set of features for securing remote access. But I think that moving forward, the two largest key components are going to be the cloud delivery model, cloud management model, and zero trust network access. So any of the NAC solutions that will be successful moving to the future has to have both of these as part of their core focus areas in their product. With Genians already being dominant relative to cloud delivery and cloud solutions, I think we're well ahead of the game in that regard. And there's lots of changes coming up in our NAC 6 product relative to cloud delivery models, not only for customers, but for MSSPs. So I think that's a key factor. And then zero trust network access, one thing to remember there is that it's not a mistake or a coincidence that zero trust network access and network access control share two of the same letters in their acronyms. So there's obviously an overlap there, and NAC is a crucial part of zero trust network access. But the key will be embedding zero trust network access into your NAC solution. So it has to be a core functionality of the NAC solution. And that and cloud, focusing on those two areas, I think are going to be the key to the future. So I think with Genians making large strides in both of those areas moving forward with the NAC 6 product, it's an exciting time to be at Genians and be part of Genians, and really an exciting time for cybersecurity and NAC in general.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It really does look like Genians and NAC are particularly well positioned as we go forward to address these fundamental concerns that security practitioners are expressing, with zero touch on everybody's lips, with observability on everyone's mind, and with the need to manage it all quite actively being required. Perhaps Genians will become ubiquitous as a verb, just like Google became a verb for indicating web searches. Perhaps we'll have to Genians that for you in the future as we look to harden your environment. At any rate, thank you very much, Brett, for sharing your story with us today. It was great to have you.
Thank you for having me, Michael, and thank you, everyone.
And yeah, and let me echo that. Thanks to everyone who joined us today and who catches us during the on-demand time after this. Stay tuned to your inbox for updates on our next Genians Talk sessions, where we will continue this set of conversations about the Genians journey thus far, and give you a sense of what to look out for on the road ahead. So until then, this is Michael Clark for Brett Hamill, over and out.
Thank you.